What's up, family? Hey, I want to jump on here real quick. When I was a kid, um, I used to draw these war scenes. Stay with me. I'm not an artistic person, and what I mean, I don't have the ability to draw. You know what I mean? I see people that they're gifted in that area. You know, they whatever you ask them, man, they could just sketch it out, draw it, and have it done. You know, people that have just that eyesight. You know, that keen vision to be able to see it on canvas or whatever, and to make it come alive. I'm not that guy. You know what I mean? In any way, shape, or form, I've never been that guy. The only way that I was able to draw, the only thing that I was ever able to draw as a little kid is these battle scenes. You know what I mean? And I don't know why. I do know why now. But as a kid, that's all I ever drew. You know? And what I mean battle scenes, man, I would draw helicopters and jets and, you know, bombers and just dropping bombs and just, mountains and ships in the water and just, you know, gunmen hiding in certain areas. You know, I would draw all of these battle scenes. You know what I mean? I was strategic in that. I was very good at that. You know, drawing war and having war scenes play out. I didn't understand at the time that I was drawing what my mind was going through. You know what I mean? Stay with me. I'm going somewhere. My mind was in war. My mind was in a battle. You know what I mean? And I didn't understand that as a kid. And so, however my mind was, that's what I put on canvas. And I always grew up and I always was fascinated by people that had that ability to draw, to paint. You know what I mean? And I've always been kind of slightly jealous of that because I wish I could do that. You know what I mean? I wish I could do that, but I never could. You know, and I had to learn, man, stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. You know what I mean? A number of years ago, I was in the Air Force. I was a supervisor, and I was stationed down in LA. And I told this young lady, I started going to National University, and I told this young lady I wanted to be a counselor. I wanted to help young people, you know, with their issues, and I wanted to help um, just adults just deal with their issues. You know what I mean? And this young lady, Natasha, worked for me, and man, she started busting up laughing, and she told me, look at me face to face, like, who are you gonna help? Who's gonna come see you? Who's gonna want your advice? You've messed up your life. How are you gonna help somebody else with their life and you've messed up your life? And that stung, that hurt me so bad, that hurt deep. You know what I mean? Stay with me. I'm going somewhere. And at the time I didn't understand why it hurt so bad. You know what I mean? It's like, dang, don't nobody ever believe in me. Can't nobody ever support me. We weren't dating or anything of that nature. It's just she was so against me going to school. She was so against me being able to help people. You know what I mean? The idea of me helping people was laughable to her. The idea of me mentoring and me counseling people was a joke to her. You know what I mean? Stay with me. I'm going somewhere. A few years ago, 3, 4 years ago, um, I was at a construction site and I found this piece of copper. Um, just this little band, you know what I mean? And it's not even a solid band, you know what I mean? I put some um, gorilla glue in it, you know. But I saw this piece of band. As soon as I saw it, it's like, man, I'm gonna make me a ring out of that. I'm gonna make a ring out of that. Just this piece of copper. I don't know if you can see it good. And so I went and got some wire, and it's like, man, I love lapis lazuli. It's the same piece as this right here. And so as soon as I saw the ring, I knew what I wanted to put on it. I knew what it was going to be. It was going to be a ring for me. And um, I was looking through some of the stuff that I have, some of the crystals and stuff that I have, and I saw it today, and it's like, man, I'm gonna put that on. I'm gonna rock that. Man, I haven't worn it in a while. And so this is the first ring that I've made. You know, I've made pendants and stuff. This is a piece of amber. You know, I got some black wire. just write this. Um, and so, but I was just contemplating, just sitting back and just thinking, it's like, man, I was talking to my brother. I'm going somewhere. Stay with me. Seems like I'm all over the place, but I'm not. I was talking to my brother-in-law, and for this book that I've written, um, and there's a couple things that I'm waiting on. Waiting on this young lady to write the introduction for me, and I was like, man, I got to come up with a cover for the book. And my brother-in-law, man, he has that eye. He could draw. You know what I mean? Just gifted in that area. And so I was talking to him about, man, that I need a cover for this book, and I was, man, what's taking so long with getting this book done, and man, I can't get it to the publisher yet, and da all this, It's like I got the writing done, but man, you know what's going on. And I was talking to a young lady last night, and um, I wanted her to read the book. And man, she wrote something back, and I was reading her response on what she read so far of the book. And as I was reading her response, it's like, that's who you need to ask to write your introduction. And I was like, oh, and it was just on me heavy. It's like, man, that's why I haven't been able to get this to the publisher yet. You know what I mean? Because man, I needed this person to write the intro. You know what I mean? And it's like, that makes perfect sense for her to write this introduction for me. You know what I mean? And as I was laying there, it's like, man, okay, well, it's like, dude, you're surrounded by talent. You're surrounded by people that have been put in your life for a reason. You know, stay in your lane. Your lane is to write the book. Your lane is to express yourself. Your lane is your YouTube channel. You know what I mean? Your lane is to help people in this capacity. Just like you have an area that you're good at, Elijah, there's other people that have things that they're good at and that they excel at as well. Stay in your lane. But not only stay in your lane, but utilize the people that are staying in their lane. You know what I mean? There's people around you for whatever reasons, and we're all here to help each other. Man, reach out. Your brother-in-law is gifted at drawing. Ask him to come up with a picture, for the cover of your book. And so when he was asking, we were talking about it, he was like, "Well, what do you want?" And I said, "Man, I see a tree and some butterflies." And the title of the book is From Caterpillar to Butterfly. From Caterpillar to Butterfly. And he and I were talking about it, and he was like, "Well, the tree would have to be kind of small in order to get the butterflies in it, for perspective." And I was like, "Yeah." I said, "I just got to have a tree in the cover, and I got to have butterflies in the cover." And so he was like, "Why do you have to have a tree?" I said, "Man, because what the tree represents, as far as digging its roots deep, and you don't even understand. You can't even see how far the roots go. You just know that that tree is grounded. That that tree is stable. That that tree is forever big as it is. Man, has withstood some things. It's withstood the test of time. It's withstood the heat. It's withstood the winters, the storms, the rain, the wind. It's gone through some things, and it's still here. You know what I mean? It's still here. You know what I mean? And then the butterflies, man, that's who we are. I have this thing for butterflies and ladybugs. I don't know why. I do know why. Um, and so it's like it's a message to me. You know what I mean? And again, from caterpillar to butterfly is the metamorphosis. The transition, the change, the growth and development. You know what I mean? You've evolved. You know what I mean? You've been elevated. You've been promoted. You know what I mean? And so that's the butterfly is beautiful, it's graceful, it's gone through its caterpillar stage, it's gone through the stage of being stuck and grounded or stuck on the ground and just being able to move by crawling to being able to grow wings and being able to fly and being seen as graceful and elegant. You know what I mean? Man, and that's life. That's our life. And as I was sitting there thinking about all this stuff we are talking, he was like, "Man, well, what do you think about this and that?" like a Asian tree. 'Cause I'm all into Asian culture. I love the Asian culture. I love kung fu. I love just Asian philosophy and just a whole bunch of stuff, And he was like, "Well, what about that?" I said, "Man, that's it, a cherry blossom tree, and we come up with a whole bunch of different ideas, and it's like, man, I'm gonna let you do that. You know what I mean? However you see that, I'm gonna let you do that. But this is kind of what I want: just cherry blossom tree and some butterflies. Handle it. You know what I mean? Um, because that's your lane, that's your area of expertise. Stay with me. I'm going somewhere. And so after he got done, I was sitting there, and God was bringing back to my remembrance, like Elijah, you may not be good at drawing. You've always wanted to sing. Man, I've always wanted to sing. You know what I mean? And I can't sing. Man, I can't sing at all. You know what I mean? I could barely talk right. You know what I mean? Man, I wish I could sing. And I can't sing at all. When they say you make a joyful noise unto the Lord, yeah, I wasn't making a joyful noise unto the Lord at all as a kid. You know what I mean? They took me out of the Sunshine Band as a kid and made me an usher. I was the only kid at church not in the choir. Because it's like, no, nope, 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 nope. You go be an usher. You go stand at the door. You go be a greeter. You know what I mean? Because you can't sing at all. You messing everybody else up. And so that was devastating to me. You know what I mean? It messed up my ego. It is what it is. I had to learn to stay in my lane. And as God was talking to me today, it's like, man, look, you may not be able to draw, you may not be able to sing, but you have an artistic eye. You may not be able to sing, you may not be able to draw, you may not be able to paint like everybody else, and you may not be able to sculpture things like everybody else. But look at that ring. You made that ring. When you saw that piece of copper, you knew that it could be a ring for you. When you saw that piece of amber, you knew what you were going to do with it. It may not be as fancy wrapped as other people's stuff. It may not be as pretty and as artistic, but it gets the job done. Stay in your lane. You could go spend a bunch of money to have people wrap it for you, or you could wrap it yourself. And there's nothing wrong with supporting other people's talents and other people's gifts. But it just means a little bit more when you do it yourself. You know what that piece of amber represents to you. You know what that piece of um, lapis, this piece right here, you know what that piece represents to you. Wrap it yourself. Do it yourself. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. There's nothing wrong with wanting to do other things. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with venturing out and trying new things. We're supposed to do that. We're supposed to do that. But learn how to stay in your lane and be grateful for the gifts that you have. Learn how to utilize the gifts and talents that you do have. Learn your purpose. Learn how to do and be all that you came here to be. Excel at that. You know what I mean? Excel at the gifts that you have. Going back to the young lady, Natasha, who told me, who thought the idea of me being a counselor, who thought the idea of me being a mentor and a role model to young people was so laughable and was such a joke. You know what I mean? Man, I've done that. You know what I mean? I've done that to the point where I have people paying me, to counsel them, to mentor them. People right here on YouTube, people I'll never even meet probably, and I would have never met had I not had this YouTube channel. You know what I mean? That reach out to me and like, hey man, I'm gonna send you some cash app. Man, I want to be able to talk to you about some things. Man, I need to talk to you about some things. Man, can I set some time up? Can we chop it up about this, or that? Man, can you help me with this, that? You know what I mean? And so it's like the people are reaching out to me for that. And so the idea that this young lady thought that was laughable, the idea that this young lady thought that was such a big joke, and that I was a joke for even thinking that I could help people because I've screwed my life up. You know what I mean? Man, family, you're gonna have people that man, they don't think you're able to do what you want to do. Whatever it is your goals are, whatever it is your purpose is, whatever it is that you want to do in life, you're going to have those people that's going to mock you. You're going to have those people like, who she thinks she is or who he think he is. Man, they always doing the most. Man, just sit down and shut up and do the. You know what I mean? Man, don't allow the ignorance of other people to stop you from reaching your full potential. Don't allow the ignorance of other people, the hatred and the jealousy of other people to stop you from accomplishing your dreams. Whatever it is you want to do, family, man, go do that. Go do that. You know what I mean? As long as it's within your purpose. You know what I mean? As long as it's in the realm of you fulfilling your purpose. You have to learn how to be grateful for the gifts and the abilities that you have. And in order to understand your purpose, I've been talking about this for a while now, and we're going to be talking about purpose for a while. You know what I mean? In order for you to understand your purpose, you got to know who you are. You have to know who you are. Man, I can see beads and different um, crystals, and I'll string them together, and make powerful bracelets out of them. You know what I mean? I have a amethyst and malachite and black tourmaline bracelet that I rock. You know what I mean? But I love that. You know what I mean? I love that color scheme, the purple, the green, and the black. You know what I mean? That's such a beautiful and powerful combination. You know what I mean? Family, you could do whatever you came here to do. You could do whatever you dream about doing. The sky's the limit. You know what I mean? The sky's the limit. Express yourself and don't be afraid of what other people think. Don't be intimidated by other people's reactions. Don't be, so nervous and so scared that you dismiss the idea and that you abort the idea before you even give it a chance. I talk a lot about the late Dr. Miles Monroe. He's impacted my life a lot. You know what I mean? And I've never had the opportunity to meet him. If I've read a lot of his books, I've watched a lot of his videos. You know what I mean? And it's like he's touched my life in so many ways. You know what I mean? And it's like you don't know whose life you're going to touch. You don't know whose life you're going to have an impact on. But you got to be doing you. You got to be living your purpose. You have to be fulfilling your purpose. I've talked about this in one of my older videos, much older videos. Herman Melville. He wrote the story Moby Dick, you know. And when he wrote the story, man, nobody really followed it. Nobody really got into that book. You know what I mean? Nobody really got into that story. He died broke. You know what I mean? And I believe if memory serves me correctly, I want to say he had maybe 2,000 copies sold by the time he died. That was it, like 2,000 copies. It wasn't this great book that you see today, or it wasn't this great story that we know it as today when he wrote that story. Now, hundreds of years later, we sit back and that book is read in colleges all over the world. That book is analyzed and studied in depth and read in depth. You know what I mean? We now look at that book as, man, that's a deep book. Man, that's an impactful book. Man, that book is gone on to sell millions. Man, that book has been made into movies. But at the time of the writing, at the time of his death, it hadn't been acclaimed. It hadn't been accepted and embraced by society. And I'm saying that to say this. That story, his book, has gone on to impact the lives of people he never dreamed of meeting. That story, that book, has gone on to impact the lives of so many people. Again, it's been made into a number of movies. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. I don't care how it look. I don't care what people think. I don't care what people say. If you're instructed to start a YouTube channel, man, start that YouTube channel. If you're instructed to get on social media, a TikTok channel or whatever, and say what you got to say, sing what you got to sing, whatever it is that you're instructed to do, whatever it is that's part of your purpose, you know what I mean? Man, you got to do that, family. You got to stop being so scared of what people are going to say, what people are going to think. Again, talking about Dr. Miles Monroe. Dr. Miles Monroe stated that the place with the greatest wealth, the wealthiest place in the world, the wealthiest place in the world is the graveyard. And what he was saying was that it's the graveyard because of all of the dreams that have died with people, all of the paintings that have never been painted because people were scared or because people ran out of time, because they were wasting time, because they were distracted. All of the art that should have, could have been created, all of the books that could have, should have been written, all of the songs that could and should have been performed and written, all of the cures that could have been created, that should have been created. The graveyard is the wealthiest place. My goal, my aim, and my hope and prayer for each and every one of you is that you die empty. And what do I mean by that? You die empty. You've given this world everything that you came here to give it. You left behind everything that you were supposed to leave behind. All of the gifts that you brought into this world, all of the talents that you brought into this world, all of the stories that you brought into this world, all of the messages that you were supposed to give this world. You've given everything that you were supposed to give. You've released it all. You've given birth to it. You nurtured it to the potential, to its full potential of what you could at the time of your passing. Leave no stone unturned. You hear people say it all the time in sports. Man, I left it on the floor. I left it on the court. I gave it my all. I left everything that I had on the court. I left all that I had on the field. I have nothing left in me. I have nothing, no more energy, nothing left to give this game. Because I left it all out there. I gave it my best. Are you giving life your best? Are you doing what you're supposed to do? And I'm not talking about, oh, I got a job and I'm taking care of my kids. Man, that goes without saying. Ain't nobody asked you about that. Life is bigger than you taking care of your kids. That's not some great thing. You know, that's not some great concept. That's the bare minimum. Because you got kids, you brought kids into this world and you're taking care of them. Okay, so what? Big deal. Who cares? You don't get a pat on the back for that. That's what you're supposed to do. That's not what you came here to do. You didn't come here just to give birth to some freaking kids. What are the gifts that you have? What are the talents that you have? What are the businesses that you're supposed to create? How are you going to make the world a better place? Every single one of us has something within us to make the world a little more loving, a little more tolerant, a little more beautiful. What are you leaving behind? I love you guys. Happy healing. Peace.